Hey everyone, welcome back to Narrator Stories Recaps. Today we're diving into the 2015 Korean folk horror film The Piper. It's a chilling twist on the old Pied Piper legend, set right after the Korean War, where a wandering flutist and his 6 sons stumble upon a village hiding dark secrets. Before we jump into the story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss more exciting recaps. Now, let's get into it. After the end of the Korean War, the economy collapsed due to the lack of supplies. Han In-jun, who served as a model, took his son with him and fled everywhere. His father was worried about what to eat and where to live, and he had to think about his sick son all the time, trying to take him to Seoul for treatment as soon as possible. After a long journey, he did not find Seoul, but came to a small village. Worried about his son's physical strength, unknowingly, he asked the village chief to allow himself and his son to stay here for a few nights. After recuperating, he took his son to Seoul for treatment. In order to make the village chief believe in himself, In-jun took out a note written by an American to himself, full of sarcastic words. He, who did not understand English, took it as a hospital address, and took it as the only hope for his son's treatment. After bribing the village chief with a box of cigarettes, he finally fulfilled his wish and stayed in the village. Meili is one of the few young girls in the village. She is not only beautiful and kind, but also very capable. Because she accidentally shot a red bullet when she was picking up the bullet, she was appointed by the village chief as a witch. Time always flies so fast, and at night, the village is not peaceful, and it is full of noise. It turns out that this place has been troubled by rats for a long time, and everyone is complaining, but there is no way. As In-jun, who is a magician, he has a rich knowledge and believes that he has the ability to eradicate rats. So he reached an agreement with the village chief. After that, he gave him some money to buy medicine. The rats in the village are extraordinary. People think of all kinds of ways, but they can't get it right. Not only is the medicine not good, but it can also eat cats. Everyone really has no way to play. The village chief can only let his son kill the cat to feed the rat. In this way, he hopes to alleviate the problem a little bit. After understanding the special situation, In-jun began to think about a countermeasure. First, he found a cave on the mountain, and set it as the rat's grave. Then he put the rat's favorite yellow powder on the ground and scattered it from the cave to the village. But it's not enough to just use yellow powder. It also needs the white powder that the rat hates. By forcing the rat out of the cave through the white powder, the yellow powder is attracted to go. In addition to the perfect coordination of the sound, hundreds of thousands of rats are trapped in the cave every minute. The long-awaited problem was finally solved. The villagers were very happy. They invited In-jun and his son to have a big party. After the party, In-jun found Meili Tanchin. On the first day he came to the village, he noticed this different woman. He hoped to lose his husband Meili in the war, and to rebuild his family with his wife in the war. They started a new life together. The secret conversation between the two was seen by the village chief and remembered in his heart. He began to threaten Meili to prevent her from running out of the village. This scene reminds Meili of a long time ago. During the Korean War, the village chief became a traitor and worked for the Japanese. During his tenure, he was cruel to the Moffing patients. He drove them to the mountains and killed them. The village chief and the Moffing patients built a new village in the mountains after the Japanese left. The Korean War began. In order to avoid war and liquidation, the village chief took the villagers to the mountains to escape. He hoped that the Moffing patients and the witch could make up for the sake of In-jun. The witch and the patients were soft-hearted. The village chief chose to forgive the Moffing patients. At this time, Meili and other villagers came to live here. In-jun helped the village chief. He should have been recognized by everyone, but sometimes he was too capable. Instead, he was jealous and doubted. The dog broke the rope of the swing. In order to frame In-jun, the village chief's method was simpler. He framed In-jun as a spy. In order to prevent him from leaking the location of the village, he prepared to kill him. At this time, In-jun wanted to elope with Meili, but he didn't learn anything dangerous before leaving. He had to get his salary back. As a result, not only did he not get the money, but also his finger was cut off and the note was torn. No villager was willing to stand up and help In-jun. Only Meili saw the evil and selfish face of the people here. She chose to commit suicide and awaken the ancient curse. Originally, the witch and the patients forgave and let the village chief and others return to the village to live. The village chief wanted to occupy the village, so he took people to lock the witch and the patients in the cave. I don't know how long it took. The patients were all dead. Only the witch relied on the corpse and the mouse to survive. When he was released again, he buried the curse in the village. Although the witch was burned to death later, the curse didn't seem to go away. Looking at the injured In-jun, the poor son, the village chief, in order to maintain his high image, he didn't choose to kill In-jun and his son directly. but to mix pesticide in their rice ball. When Ingjun was sleeping, his son took back the flute and ate the rice ball. When Ingjun found out, it was already 11 o'clock in the evening. He only saw his son holding the flute in his hand. Angry Ingjun decided to do something to avenge his son. He reopened the cave stone block and used his own blood to lead the mouse army back to the village. All of a sudden, the villagers who had been buried in the rice ball became the middlemen of the mouse army. Only the village chief, who had no way to go, climbed to the swing that was broken by the black dog before. With the sound of the rope breaking, another batch of good rat food was ready. After a night's hard work, the witch's curse was fulfilled. The adults in the village all died. The children followed Ingjun to the cave in the middle of the night, looking at them slowly going, and Ingjun reopened the cave stone block. It was just like the old days. So this story tells us that in fact, people are sometimes more terrible than animals. Mice are only hungry, but people harm people for their own reasons. In short, it is not easy to harm others, but it is not easy to harm yourself. I heard that everyone paid attention to it. Your support and encouragement are my biggest motivation. See you in the next movie.